Hey everyone, this is Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com with a guitar lesson series for Jellynote. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to play Livin On A Prayer by Bon Jovi. And along the way, I'm going to show you what a power chord is, since we haven't covered that, and it is used in tons of rock and pop songs, you name it. It's just used all over the place. So I'm going to explain what that is, how to play it, and how to use it in Livin On A Prayer. Now, the interactive tabs for this video can be found in a link from the description. Now, Jellynote has thousands of interactive tabs and sheet music in sync with videos just like this one. So I suggest you check it out. So let's take a look here at this opening riff here. Now, we haven't played a lot of riffs yet, and this riff actually is played with a talk box, which we obviously are not using here, but this is what's going on for the guitar part at least. And this is very simple, and then after that we're going to be using all power chords, and I'll explain to you what a power chord is for those sections. So let's just learn this single note riff. It's really simple. We're going to start here on the low E open string. Now you're going to want to kind of mute it a little bit, just so lay your palm slightly there in front of the bridge. Then grab the 7th fret on the A string. Then jump over with the same finger and grab the 7th fret of the low E. And then the 5th fret of the A. So you can see that in the tab as you're following along. Now when you get to that 5th fret, you can pull it down slightly if you want to just give it that vocal quality like he does on the album. Then we're going to finish out the riff with 2 low E strings there, both downstrokes. Then the 7th fret on the low E again, over to the 5th fret on the A. So all together, just all downstrokes. So that's the main riff being played during the verse of the song. Then it dies out when the keyboards are playing. Then we have the pre-chorus section, which is where we start using the power chords. Now let me show you what a power chord shape is. Now there's really a couple different versions of a power chord that you'll see used a lot. One's a 2-string version, one's a 3-string version. Now the 3-string version, which is being used in this song, is probably more common. It really depends on your favorite band and how that guitar player likes to play their power chords. But we're going to have here the 3rd fret here. I'll start here on the A string. So you're going to hold this by moving you can't angle your hand anymore like we did with the open chords. You want to move your thumb down to about the middle of the neck, so your fingers now will point up to the ceiling instead of towards your face. So that'll give you a good position for this power chord. Now we're going to play that 3rd fret of the A string. Then you're going to have to reach and grab the 5th fret of the D string. So then you're going to have to hit just those 2 strings. And that is a power chord right there. Now what we're going to do for the 3-note version of that is add the octave of this note. So the same note we're playing here on the A string, we'll play the octave higher of it on the G string. So that's at the 5th fret. So I'm adding another finger to the 5th fret now on the G string and picking across 3 strings. It sounds a little bit bigger than this. Alright, now another key component to playing a power chord is you have to mute the other strings that you're not playing. So how you're going to want to do it is this. When you're playing a power chord off the 5th string, you have to mute the 6th string by letting your index finger go slightly past the string and just touch the bottom of that 6th string. Now your bottom of your index finger is going to mute now the B and the E strings that are ring open as well. That way you can hit all 6 strings and you're just going to hear the 3 notes. So that index finger has a big job of not only playing that one note, but being properly placed so the pressure is only on that note, and then it's muting the 6th string, and then the bottom half of your finger is actually lifted up and just laying on the strings instead of pressing them down, so you can mute with it. So as soon as you get used to that, you can hit all the 6 strings and not worry about, obviously you don't aim for all 6 strings, but if you do, it doesn't really matter. You're not going to hear them because they're muted. So now I'm going to take this same chord shape and I'm going to play this whole pre-chorus to Livin On A Prayer with it. All right, so if you like rock, metal, this is the most important chord form to learn because they all use it constantly, just like that. All right, so what's going on? We're just going to take that shape. I'm going to point out the frets are going to be where the first finger is at, but the chord shape stays the exact same. So if you got it there, just lift up the pressure of your thumb, and then move up, and then put your thumb back down the back of the neck. Then you're up at the 5th fret. Then hit that a couple times, up to 7. Do that again. 3, 5, 7 again. Now this time when you get up to 7, go back down. 7, 5, 3. And then you're going to end it with the 5th fret. So you can just follow along in the tab there. You'll see how this is written out. Now when you're moving up and down, it might be difficult at first. You have to figure out how to get the proper balance in your hand so it feels the same here that it does here. It might feel like you're dragging or you can't keep the shape together in your hand. You want to keep the shape the same and just release pressure and move up. But it can be tricky, so if you don't get it immediately, don't feel bad. Just keep the balance in your hand, be able to release the pressure but keep the shape and move it and hold it down again. Pretty much do it all downstrokes. So after 3 times of that, go 7, 5, 3, then 5. And 4 times on that last 5. All right, now we get to the chorus. Now there's 2 versions of this chorus. There's one in the original key, and then they modulate it up later on the song. So that's when those vocals get like impossible to sing. So let me play the first chorus first. Sounds like this. All right, a lot of the same shape again. What we're going to do here is we're going to start with this power chord here off the 7th fret of the A string. So we're up here. Now, but since it's an E power chord, this note is E, we can add the low E with it. So you'll see that done a lot just to thicken up the sound. You can also have the top 2 strings ring with it. So just when you're playing it here, you have the B string and the high E string ring with it. So you don't have to do any muting. So Zoom is a good exercise to do that. Starts the chorus off really big sounding. And then when you jump down here, you mute. So it's a good exercise to be able to go from one to the next. So then you're back at the power chord off the A string at the 3rd fret and 5. All right. Then jump over now to the power chord off the low E string. So when you're playing off the low E string here at the 3rd fret, the shape is the same. But now you don't have to mute any strings above it because there are no strings above it, but you have to now make sure your index finger is muting the G, B, and the high E string. So it's just doing the same kind of muting it was before to mute 2 strings, now just for 3. So you still hit 3 strings if you want. But obviously don't aim, just aim for the 3 strings. And then over to 3rd fret of the A string power chord, and up to 5th fret. So all together so far? All right, now when we start over, instead of coming up and grabbing this chord again to repeat the same chord progression, we're gonna just do the open. Since this was an E, he just stays down here. It's the open E power chord. So it's just the open E string and then the 2nd fret there on the A string. Pretty easy. So you just bottom 2 strings, and then we're back starting the 3rd chord on the 2nd chord there, and the rest of the chorus is the same. Back to the verse and stuff. All right, so let's take a look at the last chorus. We are now messing around with power chords still, but we're going to do one variation in there. It's another way to thicken up the power chord sound. So let me play the chorus for you, the final chorus for you real quick. And that just repeats. So we're going to start here, the same power chord shape we've already been playing, off the 3rd fret here of the low E string. Then move up here to the 6th fret of the A string, so now you have to mute the low E. And now we're going to move up here to the 8th fret. So it's the same power chord shape we did before, except now he's going to add one note to it. Now this is a trick that you'll see used a lot in heavier styles of music. You'll take this power chord, which is supposed to be based off the 8th fret of the A string, and you're going to extend that bar, you're going to extend that to hold down 2 strings. We'll talk about bar chords more in a future video, but this is like a little mini bar. You're just going to grab the 8th fret of the A and the E string under the same fingertip and pick 4 strings. So instead of that, it sounds like this now. So the chord has the same tonality. It's still an F chord, but it sounds like it's tuned a lot lower. So it's kind of a little trick that they use. So we have this. The last chord there is that little special chord with the added note, and then we're going to go down and play the normal power chord to the 6th fret of the low E string, back to the 6th fret of the A, and ended with that extended power chord again. All together. And just repeat that. Alright, so it's a song that uses a lot of the same power chord shape, which you'll find a lot in rock and metal styles. So it's really important to get used to it. Don't overstrain, don't overbend your wrist to get there. You want to relax and still have a relatively straight wrist. Now you are able to do that by moving your thumb down. If you move your thumb lower to at least the middle of the neck, it allows you to keep your wrist straight while your fingers go up. And it can do that. Index finger can stay straight and do all the muting that it needs to do and still hold on that one note. And you can reach with the other fingers as well, easier too. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you for the next lesson in the series. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss it. I'll see you then.